Welcome to season two, aka the reboot of the Authentically Trish podcast. My squirrely little brain just tried to take on too much earlier this year with trying to make content for two YouTube channels, keep up with the podcast, work 9 to 5, and prioritize self care. So I decided to just kind of scrap everything and start over, which is one of my favorite things to do. I love a good fresh start, a new season. And today we'll be talking about the new season, fall. Fall is the most popular season. I think everyone loves a good fall. I speak for most people when we talk about autumn being our favorite time of year. It's just so refreshing to get that nice cool breeze that we've been waiting for. And there's so many benefits. I love every season. Even winter. I used to really dislike winters, but there's some things I can appreciate about winters and every season really. But I think come August, I think we're all ready for fall. It has been 100 degrees plus for the last month consistently. And I just went on the most amazing little walk. And it was like almost sprinkling. Like it was technically sprinkling, but the sprinkles were so tiny. It felt like tiny little kisses from the universe. Just so refreshing. It's 75 degrees outside. I really kind of blew off my walks for a couple weeks because it was just hot even at 7, 8 p.m. It was scorching and I didn't know that I could handle it for more than 10, 15 minutes. So it was a real treat to get outside and go for a little walk today. Walking really centers me. I took my headphones off today to just get really present with the nature and hear all of the bugs chirping, and it creates so much space. So that's actually one of the things I am super looking forward to this fall is the morning and evening walks, just any time of day walks. Walking is so much more accessible in the fall, and it's just so refreshing to feel the crisp air, to put on a cozy sweater. Headphones, no headphones. I love listening to a podcast or new music, but sometimes I love just being really, really present and connecting with nature and the sounds that are so subtle and I think really healing. And if you like walking and you've never tried hiking, I strongly recommend hiking. I just started hiking within the last year or so, and fall is really my favorite time. Spring and fall, because the climate is more temperate. I don't think I could do it in the summer because for me at least, getting a good hike in is about a 3 hour drive to a good hiking spot. I don't really live in a super naturey area. There's a couple nature centers here and they're more like trail walks. So to get a good hike in, I drive about 2.5, 3 hours away and I make a day of it. So it's definitely a fall activity, but I love, the whole getting the whole outfit together, getting my hiking shoes, my hiking supplies, bringing little snacks, and then just experiencing nature in such a raw, authentic way and watching the leaves change, all the animals preparing for winter. Even camping in the fall can be really spiritual and grounding. If you've never tried hiking before, All Trails is a great app. It has hikes recorded by other hikers, so people who have done the hikes before, and they'll take pictures and kind of rate the hike on the difficulty level. So if you're new to hiking and you want something that's a little less challenging to warm up or whatever, you can pick the hike that suits your level. One thing I'm excited to continue doing this year in the fall is the local farmers markets. I did not realize our local farmers market goes all the way until October. And I think most people associate farmers markets with the spring and summer because we're thinking of fresh produce and plants. And honestly, who knows what we can find in the fall. And I've been 3 or 4 times. I love going. We have two farmers markets at least in our city, and I love going to the little events that they host. I learned all about how to grow microgreens at a little class one time, and they gave us supplies and seeds and everything, and it was so cute. And I've had a lot of little friend dates going to the farmers market. So I think I can definitely incorporate that into some weekends in September and October and just kind of see what there is to offer. And I'm really curious to see how different a fall farmers market is. So this one's for all my pumpkin spice girlies. Okay. If you love a good latte, fall always reminds me of that transition from ice drinks to warm drinks, iced energy drinks or coffees to warm chai tea or a latte. And if you've never tried making your own homemade latte, let me tell you, it is rewarding. You can control the sweetness to a T. You can learn a new recipe, which is rewarding, show it off to your friends, and save a lot of money by getting the ingredients you need to make it, and then you can just make it over and over again at home. I have some ideas that I found on Pinterest. So, of course, pumpkin spice is one if you're a pumpkin spice girly. Maple cinnamon is another flavor. I've tried vanilla maple cinnamon before, and it is very good. I love that even through the winter. That's a very, warming, comforting flavor. Another one is pumpkin cream chai. I really want to try this one. It just sounds so rich with the pumpkin and the cream. Anything cream just sounds mm, rich and decadent and so yummy. And then another one I wrote down was maple pecan. I really want to try that one too. I love a good nutty flavor. And then, of course, you'll need to pair it with a homemade baked good. And on my vision board, I have a tray of cinnamon rolls. I don't know if I've ever made cinnamon rolls on my own. I think I've probably made them with my mom when I was a kid, but it's something that I just feel like it's time. I need to get a good cinnamon roll recipe. And just baking in general is really fun in the fall. You can make cookies and cakes and just all sorts of treats. It's the perfect time for baking. And if you're not really into baking, make that Pinterest board full of soups and stews and chilies because it is that transitional period of salads and kind of light foods into heavier, more dense foods, which I love. I love a good chili. I absolutely love making chili and pairing like a seasonal grilled cheese to go with a soup is so satisfying. You could even get some sourdough starter and make a sourdough loaf and then make a grilled cheese with that sourdough if you want to get super homey and if you have the time. I tried sourdough earlier this year, you guys. It did not go well, but I'm willing to try again, and that's something that I might try this year, this season, because it is such a good time for baking. Some other ways you can use that creative muscle is by making a simmer pot or candle making. If you've never done a simmer pot before, a simmer pot is essentially you just put some scented ingredients into a pot of water and you let it simmer for however long you want. You can use ingredients like vanilla, rosemary, cloves, apples, cinnamon. Those are all kind of good fall scents. And there's tons of recipes on Pinterest if you need help deciding what would smell good together or what to get started with. Same thing with candle making. Super easy. You just get the ingredients. Maybe a step more difficult than a simmer pot because it does require a little patience. I've made a few candles, and honestly, I don't know that I have the patience to do it again. I'll probably just do a simmer pot this year, but I love smelling my house up with a fragrant aroma and just making it, while I'm cleaning or cooking or just making the house smell good is a really good feeling. And it also enhances the experience of the season you're going through by adding a new dimension of enhancing and stimulating all of your senses. And another sense that we can stimulate is our sense of hearing. I love creating warm playlists of like acoustic and folk music for the fall. I just associate that kind of music with fall. I think it just has this really warm tone to it, and I think of getting warm in the fall. I'm not sure. It just seems so fitting. Lately, I've been listening to really good cover music. If you just search up pop covers or folksy covers on Spotify, I've made like 4 playlists just of these acoustic covers that sound so beautiful. And I think they really kind of capture the essence of fall and are the perfect music to listen to throughout fall. As the season gets colder, I tend to read a little bit more, and I have some book recommendations or really author recommendations. It's just a good time to get into series. And I've actually started reading the ACOTAR series. I actually haven't read a fiction book in almost 10 years, and I'm really enjoying this one. I just thought it wasn't for me. For some reason, I thought it was like total smut, and I was like, I don't really care to read that. I don't know, but it's not. It's like a fantasy, and it's been good so far. I think I'm about halfway through the book. If you don't know the ACOTAR series, it's Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas, and I think there's 4 books in the series, and she's a fantasy writer, and it's about this girl trying to keep her family alive essentially in this fairy kingdom, but she's in the human realm, and she gets captured by a fairy, and it's really interesting. The writing is very good and very digestible. It's not super dense, but it's also beautiful writing. So I'm really impressed with her ability to write at that level where it's so detailed and beautiful, where it's not super flowery. It's not like Tolkien level, but I don't know. I could go on. I really like that series. I also love Brianna Weist. So I've read a couple of her books. I actually read 101 Essays to Change the Way You Think a few years ago. And I was like, not a fan, actually. I will admit it. I don't know. I thought like, I think I had an expectation of what her book was supposed to be. And it did not at all match what I thought it was going to be. But she writes these kind of self-help themed essays slash poems. If you've ever read Young Pueblo, he is a poet, and it's kind of more like free writing like he does. It's kind of like you just have to read it to experience it. But I really like both of those authors, Brianna Weist and Young Pueblo. I read multiples of their books every year, and I reread some of their books. And it's just a really good way to connect with yourself and your psyche and explore your own psychology and be in a safe space in a book. It's great. If you like interactive books, I also recommend The Artist Way by Julia Cameron. It is a chapter a week. There's little assignments and questions each week, so it's more of kind of almost a mini workshop or a course. And you can read like your fiction book and then do this on the side, but it's all about unblocking your essentially your creative blocks and becoming a stronger artist and unleashing that artist within you, because we all have a creative streak. It's just like a little muscle that you can use, and some of us are very blocked. The last thing I'd like to talk about is cozy game recommendations. I just ordered a Nintendo Switch. I had one in the past, but ended up giving it to some children in need, essentially my nephews. So, I ordered myself a new one because I know I'll be indoors more and I'll be wanting to play all my cute, cozy games like Stardew Valley and Bear and Breakfast. One thing I really recommend, and I haven't chosen which game I want to play yet, but I want to get a witch themed game for Halloween and possibly multiple because there are so many cute, cozy witch themed games out on Steam and for the Nintendo Switch, and I just really want to play a witch themed game. I think they look so cute. There's tons of little gardening games that are very cozy. Lemon Cake is a game that I just recently got and started playing where you get to own a little bakery. It's so cute and the colors are kind of fall themed, so I think it's a very fitting fall game. And like I mentioned, Bear and Breakfast is also a really cute game where you are a bear and you're owning a bed and breakfast. And it's literally the cutest game ever. And of course, if you've never played Stardew Valley before, that's where I would start on your gaming journey because Stardew Valley is just the ultimate cozy game of cozy games. It is my best friend in the whole world. I have played so many hours of Stardew Valley and just disappeared from society to escape into this fantasy world. And it's a little farming game, but it's so much more than that. Anyway, guys, that's all I have to share with you guys today. If you made it this far, thank you so much for listening, and I will talk to you guys in next week's episode. Bye.